All right, so Jeremiah in our first reading is called to be a prophet to the nations, but he doesn't think that he's up for it. He knows himself too well. You have to be really eloquent. He's not that. You have to have all kinds of experience. He's too young to have that. In order to be a prophet, you have to be someone bigger, better, and different than the guy that Jeremiah sees in the mirror. But here's the thing. God thinks he's good enough. God knows everything about Jeremiah, and God still chooses to love him and to call him to the challenging work of being a prophet. To pluck up and pull down and to tear, destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant. God trusts Jeremiah to be an agent of change during difficult times. Henry Nouwen writes that self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life. Self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life because it contradicts the sacred voice that calls us the beloved. Being the beloved constitutes the core truth of our existence. So self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life. This is where the work of love begins, with believing that we are loved, completely and wholeheartedly loved. In the words of Brene Brown, that we are worthy of love and belonging. It's only when we have learned to love ourselves that we are capable of loving others. Without this, we are a bottomless pit of need, and we look to others to fill that need. When we love ourselves, we are capable of giving without needing something in return. And that is love. The kind of love that is patient and kind, the kind of love that does not insist on its own way, is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. When you experience your own belovedness, you will notice that love wants to grow. It wants to expand, to include more people. And in this way, love challenges us. You love your select group of friends. Now learn to love your family, whom you did not select. You love your family. Now learn to love your neighbor. You love people who look like you. Now learn to love people who don't look like you. You love people in your country. Now learn to love people who live in other countries. Or maybe the challenge for some is that it's easy to love people far away, and the challenge is to love somebody who's very close. It's a never-ending journey. In our gospel reading for today, Jesus has declared that he has come to bring good news to the poor, to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. It's a bold statement. At first, everyone seems to think it's great. Jesus knows these people. He grew up in Nazareth, and so he was raised in this neighborhood, and it's their customs and norms that he has had to gradually unlearn in his adult life. And so he refuses to just leave it there, and he figuratively gets in their face and tells them that they won't accept him, which is perhaps a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then he points to Scripture in which God favors the outsider over the insider. He needs to tell his hometown that love is bigger than they think it is. It's bigger than their lifelong friendships and neighborhood associations. It's bigger than their belonging in a faith community, in a town, in a political party, in an ethnic group, in a country. Love demands reaching out and challenging expansion. It goes beyond self-made barriers. It goes beyond self-erected walls. Rage. That is their reaction. All in the synagogue are filled with rage. They are threatened by this love of which Jesus speaks. Threatened perhaps that there won't be enough. Threatened by the truth that their love isn't big enough yet. They get up, drive him out of town, lead him to the brow of a hill, and are ready to hurl him off a cliff. Blinded by their anger, they don't see Jesus escape to safety. My question for you today is how, because I think it's probably happening, how is love pushing you outside of your comfort zone? How is love inviting you to expand your circle of care and concern? Love is God. Love is of God. So how is God pushing you to love more, bigger? And how are you responding to that challenge? Hear the invitation again in the words of Dostoevsky from his book Brothers Karamazov, and in which he describes this ever-expanding circle of love. Love people, even in their sin, for that is the semblance of divine love, and is the highest love on earth. Love all God's creation, the whole, and every grain of sand in it. Love every leaf, every ray of God's light. Love the animals, love the plants, love everything. If you love everything, you will perceive the divine mystery in things. Once you have perceived it, you will begin to comprehend it better every day. And you will come at last to love the whole world with an all-embracing love. May it be so. Amen.